Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington Tea Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan. He's a Corgi, and we're here for an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And today it is raining and cold here, but happily it's not so cold that the snow isn't melting at a lively rate. We're very excited about that. Hi, Danny. Yeah, it's cold and awful where you are. I can't even imagine. She's in South Dakota. So anyway, I thought it would be fun to do a little series of things about what you can do to entertain yourself and your pets in bad weather, including rainy days. So I know we've talked about this before, but in the context of a rainy day, it's a little different. So one of the best things you can do with your dog, you're going to be looking at, prolonged periods indoors. So your dog is going to need physical exercise, mental exercise, and companionship, all of which we are perfectly capable of providing them with. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what we do to give them mental exercise. And when I think about this, I remember these horses I know that are in a field that's maybe 2 acres. The person is never there. They have someone feed them once a day, maybe twice a day. They don't ever go riding. They don't ever get body work. They just stand in this pretty small field day in and day out. And as much as people think, oh, that's the life of Riley and the horses are happy, I wonder, are they? They're not getting any mental stimulation except from each other. Their pasture's in a pretty open area, so they don't see a ton of wildlife going through. I really felt like my horse and my friends' horses enjoyed our trail rides together, and that when they were back in the barn at night, they were talking about how much fun it was and what a nice time they had and where would they go tomorrow. I mean, all the horses I've had have been excited to do stuff with me, especially if we're going out with other horses. So I feel like dogs are the same way. Our routine in the house is a little more varied than what those 2 horses are experiencing standing around in a field. So it's important to remember that your dog needs mental stimulation when the weather's just awful. So the first thing I think of for that are these great dog treat puzzles. So you can see the components slide and come out, and you hide little treats in there. Tristan's like, where's mine? And then your dog will be able to slide them around and pull things out in order to find the treats. And it's a really fun thing to watch them do. I never get tired of watching my dog do it. You can put treats under every single one of them or just some of them. And this particular one, these bones have to actually be pulled out, the white ones. So it comes with some extra ones, so you can put them in all 4 places. The way it is now, a dog can slide these around and get a few treats as a warm-up. So you can make it harder. My dog Comet, he could solve these puzzles and had a large interest in them and would finish one in about 15 seconds. Tristan is a little bit slower with them. He's not as excited about them. Plus, he gets a lot more treats probably because he's on free treating situation. But if you don't have one of these puzzles or you can't afford them because they are like $40 or $50, there's some other things you can do. People have been taking like old t-shirts and tying them onto like a piece of matting, almost like some of those old tablecloths used to be. But you can also use like the web stuff that you can buy to stick down a carpet in a room and just tie strips of old t-shirts on it to make like a rug with all these things sticking up like this. And in the dog world, these things are called snuffle mats, but you can make one if you don't have one. And then you hide the treats in there, and the dog has to snuffle around and pull the treats out. You can buy a real snuffle mat. They are washable generally, and they're fun. But if you don't have one of them, you can also just do something really simple. And this was part of a big test on animal intelligence that a person did, a really great person. And you can just take 3 paper cups, or even not paper cups if you don't care if they're broken, or use plastic ones, and put a treat under one of them and hide your dog while you're doing this, and then let him come and get the treat out from whichever cup the treat is under. And dogs love this game, and you can mix it. You don't have to just use 3 in a row. You can make circles of them or zigzags or set up a chessboard. It doesn't matter how you set them up, and you can randomly put the treats in or put in just one treat or put treats under all of them if your dog is not that interested at first, you may have to do that. But that's a really fun thing for you too, because you have to figure out how to make this interesting, and then you get the fun of watching your dog figure out how to get the treats out from under the cups. One of my favorite games with my corgis has been the you're getting warmer, you're getting colder kind of game, where you hide like a really good treat somewhere in the living room and then put the dog in there and let him find it. You can also do this in a smaller area if your dog isn't so interested. And then you give them a signal when they're getting closer or further from the treat. Now, of course, they have brilliant nasal senses, so I don't know that you're going to have a lot of time of them wandering around looking, because they'll smell it, and if they have the interest to get the treat, they will go right to where it is. But this game of hide and seek can really teach your dog a lot of skills, and it is really fun for me to do that with my dogs. And you can also do the same thing with their toys. I usually put 1 or 2 toys or maybe 3 toys out to start and try to teach them the names of their toys. So, you know, he'll pick up one and I'll say, that's the purple squeaky, that's your birthday cake, that's your buns, let's get the pants. So he has all these different names for his toys, and it's much easier to teach your dog names of his toys when he is a baby than it is when they're old, but you can still do it. And even if he only learns 1 or 2 names, that's hugely fun. So once he knows those names, you can disperse them around the room and have him bring just that one thing that you're talking about. My dog Winnie loved this game, and he knew hundreds of names. And my friends were just marveled at how he could walk around a room, and I'd say, bring roadkill bunny. He had this flat bunny like this, like a roadkill bunny. Bring purple roadkill bunny. Bring sitting bunny. He had a lot of bunnies because we had rabbits. And he would bring the right one every time without hesitation, and people just couldn't get over it. He was a really smart dog, but partially it was because I taught him the names of these toys and spent hours playing with him. So when the weather's terrible, and instead of taking that walk with your dog that might be a half an hour of your day, think about doing some of these things to stimulate him cognitively. You know, make up games and puzzles for your dog. You can also play hide and seek with your dog yourself. You know, hide in a closet or behind a door or behind the sofa and call him, and, you know, get really excited when he finds you. And then you can start to do that game the other way with your dog, like sneak up on him when he's sitting somewhere obvious and say, I found you, I found you. So there's some really fun things you can do. And lots of these games you can also do with cats. And I've done most of them with rabbits. And you can even do them with horses. But there's even more fun things to do with them. So think about some cognitive fun for your dog when you're trapped inside on a cold day, a rainy day, a snowy day, or just a day when nobody wants to go out. Thanks for joining us. Have fun with your dogs. We will be back tomorrow at around 9:30 for another episode of Conversations with a Corgi, where we'll talk about some more fun things you can do with your dog on bad weather days. Right, Biss? He says, I hope there's treats in that puzzle for me now. Mommy will hook you up. She will put the treats in that puzzle as soon as we are done. Thanks for joining us. Everybody have a great day and stay warm.